Thank you for joining me here on odds.com. This is my NHL breakdown for February 22nd, Monday, February 22nd. But I'd like to start by giving all of you guys a big thank you for all the well wishes to my family. The birth of my son took place. He is healthy. He is just under 2 weeks old. And all is good here, and very excited about the future. So thank you for all the good vibes that were sent my family's way. Let's get to work. We had a strong 2 weeks handicapping NHL. It was the only sport I was handicapping on my 2-week break, and it went well. It went well until Saturday when I went 1-4, down about 3.5 units. There was 2 different times where I was right at plus units, and I fell back. But as you guys saw, that really tough stretch I had early in the year put me down double-digit units. So I'm sitting right now at 38 wins, 45 losses, hitting 45.8%. Now, my average line is plus 126. In past years, I've had a even higher average line than that. I would expect at 46%, 47% to be plus units with my average line. That is not the case right now. I'm down 4.16 units. My ROI is minus 5.01%. And I expect to be up double-digit units definitely by April 1st. And I'd like to say by March 15th. Let's get to work. There are 2 games that I'm heavily attacking on tonight's NHL card. And I wanted to give you guys more games. But succeeding and cashing is more important to me than stretching or reaching just to give you more content. And as you guys know from me in the past, I would cap every single game on the card because I enjoy it so much. But from the viewer experience, it's not as enjoyable to watch me break down a game and then finish it by saying, I don't think I'm going to make a bet here. So I'm heavily attacking these 2 games, and these will be on the breakdown. We start at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Los Angeles Kings at St. Louis Blues. Let's pull up all the market movements that we can break down to help everybody figure out what moves they want to make. And as always, I'm not here just for you guys to tail. If you want to fade me, whatever works for you guys. Let's start with the market move here. LA opened up as plus 152 dogs. They're plus 140 pretty much across the board. I'm shooting this at 8 a.m. Eastern on Monday, February 22nd, and they were plus 140 last night at 9 p.m. So the people that attacked that early plus 150 must have done it as soon as the market opened, because last night, with 2 games still left to play on the docket, this was plus 140. The total, and I'm attacking both side and total here, is sitting at 5.5, and it's a pick 'em right across the board, minus 110, or minus 108, whatever your book offers, but that has not changed at all. I am backing the LA Kings, and I'm taking them on the minus 1 line. Sure, plus 140 is a nice score, but I want giant scores. It's what excites me. It's what really excites me, and I'll take the push on a plus 140. I will. If I can get plus 180, then maybe I don't take the minus 1, but I can build this minus 1 at plus 292, and that's what I'm talking about. That's a huge fist-pumping score for me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm on the Kings minus 1. I bet it. I got plus 140 on the money line. I got plus 400 on the puck line. I'm also on the over 5.5. The Kings are 7-6-3, 4-4-0 on the road. The Blues are 10-6-2, 4-4-2 at home. I'm expecting Jonathan Quick to be back in goal. He did not start last game, but he did start the 2 games previous to that. And they were his best 2 games in 3 years. And I know that's a huge statement, but he's really struggled, and he looked very good. Excuse me, in these last 2 games. He's not been great this year. 3.19 goals against average, 4-2-2, with an 889 save percentage, 1 shutout. That shutout happened in the last 2 games. He's allowed 2 goals over his last 2 games. Jordan Binnington, 8-4-2, 2.53 goals against average, 913 save percentage. This Kings special teams is fueling this 4-game winning streak they're on. Their power play, 24.2%. Their penalty killing, 83%. The Blues special teams as a whole have not been very good. Now, when I see this Blues record at 10-6-2, I don't think, wow, this is a first-place team or anything like that. I think that they play a very, weak division, and their special teams are poor, and they have not got their shit together. Now, I expect Ramsey and the boys to get their shit together, to start putting up W's and to get better as the season goes on, but they're not that good right now, and right now they are beat up. They're struggling. They've got COVID issues. They've got a whole bunch of shit going on, and this is, even though the Kings have won 4 straight, this is a fade of the St. Louis Blues. Their power play sitting at 14%, their penalty killing 74.2%. Let's talk about this Kings team that's won 4 straight. Anze Kopitar signed the giant contract, and a lot of questions about the 2 big contracts. And if you want to put that $5.8 million a year with Dustin Brown as a big questionable contract, you can't. But the big contracts we're talking about are the double-digit $1 million contracts yearly to Anze Kopitar at center and Drew Doughty on defense. But Kopitar tied for 9th in the league, scoring 21 points in 16 games so far this year. He's also winning 54.2% of his faceoffs, and he's a big body. So when he's winning faceoffs, he's scoring. Now, is he worth $11 million per? No. But he's playing very good hockey right now. Dustin Brown, stripped of his captaincy in 2016. A lot of questions about him with this Kings team. He's stepping up in a huge way. 14 points in 16 games, playing good hockey out there. And then Drew Doughty's been atrocious the last 2 seasons. Minus 50 combined the last 2 seasons. He's an even plus minus right now, but 15 points in 16 games, and he looks like he's having fun out there. They also look like they have a difference maker in second-line centerman, 11th overall pick in 2017, ex-Windsor Spitfire Gabriel Velarde. I'm not saying this team is even going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now, they're bet on. They've won 4 straight. They're playing good hockey. They're enjoying being out on the ice. And I'm backing them here. And they're scoring goals. And they have questionable goaltending, even though Quick's been good the last 2 games. It makes me want to back the Kings and also wants me to back the over 5.5. I've told you guys that this Blues team on the show, I've told you guys the Blues team has a lot of depth offensively. Now that's being tested with these injuries and with Sammy Blais going out with COVID. But they're going to put up points. They're going to score goals, and they're going to be an over team this year, I believe. The market still sees them as that under team that they've been the last few years. The Blues have won 3 of 5, but they did not look good in that 7-game series, which they lost to the Coyotes. They most recently split 2 games with the Sharks. The last game they lose 5-4. Colton Parayko out of the lineup. He's missed 2 straight. He's day-to-day. He may not be in the lineup tonight. I hope he's not in the lineup. He'll really help our Kings move and our overlook, but man, was his absence noticeable in that 5-4 loss. All of a sudden, their defense is small. Let's talk about how beat up the squad is. So we know that Tarasenko, done for the year. That's old news. Bozak, IR. Robert Thomas, IR. They were expecting Thomas to make a big move, sort of the move that Kyrou has made for them. Jaden Schwartz, day-to-day. Colton Parayko, day-to-day. I would love to not see them in the lineup tonight. And then they have Ivan Barbashev, day-to-day. They also have Sammy Blais added to the COVID list on Saturday. And I ask you this, how many times have you seen one player go on the COVID list? Almost never. You have to think that somebody else is going to jump on that COVID list. I see this as a fade of the Blues, backing the Hot Kings squad, getting a huge line. If you want to take the plus 140 money line, I get it. Look, I want to go for a big score. And I'm going to do it. It excites me. And remember, this is supposed to be fun. And that's fun for me, going for a giant score. Plus 292 on the Kings -1. And I got the over 5.5 at -110. We move on. The next stop on our card is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Wild at the San Jose Sharks. See what we are dealing with here. This is the last game on the card. The total opened at over 5.5 at -125. It's still there, but quite noticeably, a couple books have moved that to 6. But the other books have kept it at the -125 spot. From the money line perspective, this Minnesota Wild team, road favorites, open up at -120, shoot all the way up to -140, between -140 and -160. And I got them at -150, and I got them last night, again, at like 9 o'clock at night. Those people who hammered that opening line at -120, I mean, very fortunate. But for the legal licensed openers, it didn't open at that spot. Let's see what it did here. We got the Bet365 opener, and I'd be surprised if I missed it, was minus 150. So because I was waiting for it. As soon as it dropped, I attacked it. So it makes sense to me. But I'm taking them on the -1 line. I will not take anything over -135, and I'll rarely do that. -1, I'm getting at +108. Now, I've seen legal licensed books like Sports Interaction, that's available in Jersey and in Canada, hang a +129 on the Wild -1. I build it with a -150 and a +170. It gives me a +108. I'm also on the over 5.5 at -125. Wild are 8-6-0, 5-3-0 on the road. San Jose Sharks 7-7-2, 1-1 at home. Only 2 games at home for these Sharks. Capo Kakinen 5, and we know why. Remember, there was no in that county in San Jose. They weren't allowing any kind of games to go on, and that's changed now. So they're going to start playing a bunch of home games. Capo Kakinen 5-4-0 in between the pipes for the Wild. 2.46 goals against average, 9-11 save percentage, no shutouts, and he's been excellent. And they've needed him to be because they lose Cam Talbot, they lose Alex Stalock, and he's held the fort for them. Martin Jones, I expect to be in that for the Sharks. 6-4-1, 3.65 goals against average, 882 save percentage. How he still has a job, I don't know. I can't. The decisions that Doug Wilson makes, I think are bad. Look, this guy was a great defenseman, a likable guy. How many years are you going to let him mess up this franchise? The Wild special teams are what you would remember from this squad. Penalty killing excellent, 86.5%. Power play terrible, 7.7%. That power play is going to improve quickly, and we'll talk about why. Sharks power play 16.7%, penalty killing 76.7%. All of a sudden, this Wild has a very strong offensive group. What's changed? Let's start with that. First, a healthy Matt Zuccarello. As soon as they picked him up at the trade deadline last year, he got hurt. This guy has not played enough, and he's a sniper. I mean, we remember him in that Rangers uniform. He's a sniper. He has 3 points in 3 games since he's returned. He plays on the line with Kirill Kaprizov, and Kaprizov is incredibly gifted offensively. 23-year-old. He's come over from the KHL. If the Calder Trophy finalists were announced right now, he'd be one of them with 11 points in 14 games. In last 2 years for CSKA Moscow, he scored 63 goals, 30 goals 2 years ago, 33 goals last year. This guy is a sniper. Their first line, so that's their second line. The first line is tough to play against. You got Joel Eriksson-Ek, who's probably not good enough to be your number 1 line centerman, sure, but he's got Jordan Greenway on the left side, 6'6" Jordan Greenway, punishing, tough hockey player, and then you got Kevin Fiala on the right side. Kevin Fiala is a Corsi darling. His Corsi numbers rank him as the 8th best right winger in the National Hockey League. That leaves you with a bottom 6 of Zach Parise, Ryan Hartman, Marcus Foligno, Nico Sturm, Nick Bonino, and Nick Bjugstad. Wow, that is depth. On defense, they have Ryan Suter, Matt Dumba, Jared Spurgeon. Dumba was hurt earlier in the year. He's a power play specialist, and you can do a bunch of different things. But you split up those 3 defensemen, which is what they've done, and you have one of those guys on the ice for the entire hockey game. They completely dominated the Ducks. Now, I know the Ducks are a weak squad, but they're feeling good about themselves. They're in California. They can't go out because of COVID issues. I just think they keep rolling here. They outscored the Ducks 8-2 in the last 2 games. Let's talk about the Sharks, a weak squad. Logan Couture, great player. I expect him to be on the 2022 Canada team. They have Thomas Hertl on the second line. He's on the line with Timo Meier and Latvian Rudolfs Balcers. Balcers came over from Ottawa. I don't know that much about him. I've looked him up on HockeyDB. I don't have huge expectations for him, but obviously this weak Sharks team does, putting him on the second line with Meier and Hertl. And Hertl and Meier, we've been waiting for them to step up and possibly be elite forwards, and they have yet to do that. They've shown flashes, but they have good enough Corsi numbers to believe in them. You have Kevin LeBanc on the one side of Couture and Evander Kane, who's dealing with all this financial crisis he's put himself into. And their top 6 forwards aren't bad. Their bottom 6 forwards are very weak. And their defense, now missing Erik Karlsson and Radim Simek, is very weak as well. They can still score goals. And their power play at 16.7%, I expect to improve, even with Karlsson out of the lineup. But they're a bad hockey team, and the market knows they are. You're not going to get rich fading the Sharks. In fact, it's best for you to pick the spots to back them because they're 7-7-2. But this Wild team is rolling. I don't want them here. Don't want the Sharks here. Want the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild -1 at +108. Over 5.5 at -125. Those are my two spots on the NHL card. 4 bets, and I'm telling you, will be plus units by the end of the week and double-digit units by March 15th or April 1st. Sitting at 38 wins, 45 losses, 45.8%, -4.16 units. It sucks saying those numbers out loud. I was down -0.66 units before this, losing 3.5 units on Saturday night. And I took last night off because I wanted to come in here fresh, and I want to attack, and I want to succeed. I'm ready to do that with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this show. Let's go on a big run here. Let's go on a big, big run in NHL. It's my bread and butter, and I expect to roll here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for support. Thank you for watching odds.com. Let's get that cash, man. Let's get paid in full. Kings -1 +292. Over 5.5 -110. Wild -1 +108. Over 5.5 -125. Let's get paid. Let's get it. Thank you for watching.